Previously on
So the topics up for grabs this week on Blogz. Sean, what was yours?
Mine was, who are the most likable South African sporting personalities?
The most likable
However
South
I phrased
African. Okay. He hasn't got a cell phone, Simon. So likable SA sporting personalities. Tank, what was yours?
What should Saru do with Rusty Erasmus?
What should Saru do with Rusty Erasmus? All right. Okay, hang in there. Those are the two. And Simon is back. Everything all right there, by the way?
Yeah, sorry, that was just a phone call from Australia.
Important?
As it turned out, no.
Oh, okay.
So I'm sorry I took it.
Immigration not happening, eh?
Not happening.
Yeah, I'm waiting
I've
for
got
mine.
no services that I can offer to Australia.
I'm waiting for mine still, so we'll let you know.
Sorry about that.
If I rush out suddenly, you'll know that's them phoning me next. They may be doing alphabetical order. Hill comes before Scott. How's it, Ben? How's it going?
Not always.
All right. Good. We phoned you on a landline, and your line is so like dull and low.
Sorry, I'll try and make up for that with a dazzling voice.
There we go. Get that big booming Karpinski voice going out
There
there.
we go. Hi.
All right. You're on the phone with Front Row Grunt,
Great.
and
How's it been?
Hi, Tank.
and Sean is sitting here with us.
Hi, Sean.
Hello, how's it?
I'm not sure I haven't actually said hello to you yet.
Yeah, duly noted, Tank. How are you doing?
But you know, we've never met. We're going to have to meet at some stage.
You will meet tomorrow.
Oh yeah, we will meet tomorrow. We actually have met before, but I'll point it out to you tomorrow. Ooh, the
Okay.
mystique.
Yeah, because you're going to be at the Dross tomorrow, right, Tank?
Yes, in Menlyn.
In Menlyn, Atterbury. Yeah, it's going to be really cool. Nice part of the world. It's Friday, and that part of the world, everything is everyone heads towards that part of the world, so it should be cool.
Yeah, looking forward to that, I must say.
All right, James Small will be in for the hangouts as well tomorrow.
A nice chat with CS Duplessis this morning, Tank.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. In the opposition, the 3 minutes on the opposition, you know, just keep it short and simple.
How's the show going on Two Oceans?
Exceptionally well, thank you. We have 3 listeners and they all like it.
Well, they're half of ours, so yeah.
And when are you and Neil Collins doing a show together? Because I think you both of you are working on every radio station in the country right now.
You won't believe it. He phoned me today. Did you give me my number or what?
No, he just said he had to speak to you something, but we refer to you two as the 2 biggest radio sluts in the country now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All
Sorry
right.
about that.
And Ben, we've had an interesting conversation on Twitter once again about Irene Nell.
Why do you guys keep flogging what is essentially a dead horse?
You can't call Irene a dead horse.
I'm not calling Irene a dead horse, far from it. And unlike you guys, I have nice things to say about her all the time.
No, but
We always have nice things to say about her.
Yes.
I don't think so, guys. I think if you actually had to go into what really gets said on that radio station here of yours,
To the archives.
you guys actually aren't that nice to girls. I've come to notice this.
No,
You see
come
them as
on.
bikini wearing, like borderline cliche speaking people.
No.
I've come to see this.
No, you've got it all wrong. You're a third force. You're trying to drive a wedge between us and Irene.
Ben, are you attacking the station for having scantily clad women about?
It'll have to be a big wedge, but you're driving a wedge.
No, I'm not. I'm pretty happy where I stand in this. You guys are the ones who are making a song and dance about it.
We're just a little upset that she's still busy doing your bounce bits and she's abandoned us for a month.
Ben, why don't you tell us your topic for the week?
Yes, what's your topic for the week, Ben? Well, yours is the one that's the most bleeding obvious.
My topic, I thought I'd try something different.
Yeah, blow your argument now out the water.
I think my topic is quite a good one because, you know, it's never been spoken about, I think, definitely on this show, and definitely not in the press or that I've read, maybe on Sport 24. But which women's sports do you actually enjoy watching for a sporting content only? You know, so obviously, Darren, guys like you, back to my original point, you look at beach volleyball and you think, oh, women bikinis. But, you know, are you actually watching for sports? So I think that's quite a cool thing to discuss.
All right, so let's. Are we still going on who's subject one? Or
No,
just
we're doing it your way now.
We're doing it all 3. All right,
All 3.
let's start with that one right there. So if you had a choice, Ben, where you had, who's that German woman that played beach? It's like the German beach volleyball team.
Over the whole team.
Oh, and versus Brazil playing beach volleyball on SS3, or you had the Williams sisters playing doubles against Arancha Sanchez Vicario and Conchita Martinez on SS2. Which one would you watch?
There's a flawed argument because they're both dreadful spectacles. Beach volleyball to me is bloody boring. It's like tennis, but taking away all the good things about the sport.
What? I actually think it's improved it. They've got fewer clothes.
Yeah, but Simon, come on, all those girls.
They don't grunt as much.
Those girls are all rakes. That's not really my angle. I like girls with a bit more curve on them.
Okay.
All right.
So, so which sport would you say then?
I would probably go onto Blitz and see if there's any highlights on, because I don't like watching women's tennis for a start, but it is one of the nicer sports if the girls are decent looking.
Yeah, but your topic is which sport would you want to watch women play purely for the sport?
Yes, and I've got plenty of examples.
Okay, go.
Athletics, running mostly, track running, archery is very good.
I wouldn't tune in for that.
Wouldn't you?
Hell no.
That's interesting. Simon, the Winter Olympics provides all kinds of fantastic things. Well, there was that. Ice skating.
Oh, please.
Definitely. Gymnastics for sure. Water polo. Hey, Tank, can you back me up there?
Yeah, I'm there on that.
These are all sports I would rather watch women do than men a lot of the time.
And what about hockey?
On a sporting prize. I don't like hockey.
Yeah.
I think it's a silly sport. Again, it's like taking football but taking all the good things away from it.
Well, I would think the women's sport I would most like watching is women's golf.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh yeah, there's nothing more beautiful than watching Laura Davies.
You see, no, because there's nothing more beautiful than watching someone who can play the game, the flight of a golf ball, and a nice draw, pitching 2 meters away from the green. It's got nothing to do with the players. I'm talking about the art.
I don't find women's golf. Sorry, this is just me, but I don't find women's golf exciting at all.
I think
they're very good, but
they hit the ball nowhere.
Yeah.
It takes forever to mark the ball. And
who was it? Suri Puck or something like that. When she wanted to play, I think it was her. Suri Puck wanted to go play on the men's tour, and she had to
Michelle Wee.
Michelle Wee, yeah. And I mean,
maybe if you knew your women's golfers a bit more, it might be more interesting.
Well,
And
Puck me, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't matter.
I enjoyed the women's javelin and shot put in the Olympics, I must admit.
Okay, that was purely for the sport, John.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Because I'd be worried if it wasn't. Because I thought I saw Tank there 3 times.
No, but guys, I had a constructive point to add here. Is that people often go on about the fact that it's scandalous how little women get paid in relation to men in sports. And I don't think it is. I think from an actual spectacle, a lot of guys want to watch men instead of women. And now, like obviously in tennis, they have it down the line with I think Wimbledon and US Open nowadays, if not even the Aussie Open.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I don't agree with that. Like I don't want to see the women play the tennis actually.
Don't you think it's just mainly an exposure thing though, Ben, as opposed to you'd actually just prefer men playing it as opposed to women? Because I mean the rules of the game are the same. The tension that mounts should be the same. If they just got more exposure, would you not be more into seeing it?
No, I don't think so, hey Sean. I think if you look at women's football as well, they say it's a growth sport, but you can't watch more than 10 minutes of that. If the women had to be marketed better, I suppose, so you would know all the names, potentially. But I think, and I don't mean this in a sexist way whatsoever, and I know you guys are going to try to take this as pieces, but, I watch sport because I like to know that I'm watching something to be in awe of, like amazing physical abilities, speed, power, all that kind of stuff. Like, I think I can beat most girls at sport.
What?
Oh, I would love to actually put that to the test. What sports do you play?
Great.
Sharapova versus Kopinski. I'll put money on that.
Yeah. So it's okay. Let's go. What sports do you play? Which sports do you think you could beat?
Well, look, I think I'll be a better cricketer than most women. That's for a start.
All right.
I think, if we were to go into playing rugby, I think physically I'd probably do quite well in a team of women.
Oh, you are looking for trouble now.
You've seen some of those lady box.
Yeah, no, for
They
sure,
will bench
guys.
press you.
I've given this some thought, so I just thought it'd be a cool topic to throw out there.
Yeah.
So I think deep down, instinctively, and again, I'm saying this in a sporting sense only, not like a gender sense. I'm not really in awe of watching women play sport. Maybe that's what I'm getting at here. So therefore, it's not overly interesting.
But do you mind being beaten by a woman?
I've no problem with that, John.
Right. Because I knew a guy that did comrades, and he said this woman would never beat him, and she did. Never ran again.
But John, that's an endurance sport.
That was you, Johnny?
No.
And then you married her.
No, she still beats him.
I had a French teacher at school who made the Bulgarian you were talking about, John, looked
Yes.
like the Australian pole vaulter. and she challenged me in front of all my classmates to a game of squash, at which I scoffed. Because I was playing a bit of business league squash with my dad's team at the time, and I thought, no, this is easy. I got 1 point out of the whole game.
Yeah, again, squash. I mean, I lost to a morbidly obese man once in squash. It's one of those sports that there's a loophole there somewhere.
I was devastated. I also stopped playing after that.
But you see, squash is not about power. Squash is about sticking the ball in the corners.
Yeah.
And as close to that wall as possible. So you actually, if you can do that, you can pretty much beat anyone.
Well,
and have a sense of not moving at all. And if you play squash against someone that can really play squash,
I feel like I'm in a lab experiment when I play squash. Those fluorescent lights and those 4 walls. I feel like I'm in like Auschwitz or something, and they're staring at me.
you can't play that game against a person like Derek Watts.
No.
Because he's so tall and
But the eagle.
you can't get anywhere. You can't get past him. You're going to either get hit by his racket, or you're going to trip over him. Or this same French teacher, if someone is large, when they get the tee, that's it. You're done.
Yeah, can you imagine playing against Tank?
I don't think you get on the court.
All right. So before we wrap up on which women's sports would you most like to? Did we come to any particular one for each of you? That athletics for you, Bounce.
The best, yeah.
Sean.
At the moment, it's golf, but I honestly think it's an exposure thing most of the time.
Yeah.
So like Ben complains that like it's no, but Ben, I mean, you say that you want to know everyone's names and you want to get started. I mean, it takes a while to get going into any sport,
Yeah, but sure, at the same time, she'll never hit the ball more than like 260 meters.
But it's the contest that you're looking for, surely, in the sporting event.
maybe.
I mean, you don't just switch off Curry Cup rugby because you just want to see the Springboks play.
Well,
No.
you do. TV stats prove it.
No, don't bring up the TV stats again, please.
Here we go.
It's going to be pie charts and all kinds of stuff coming up.
Have you
now.
ever bringing up TV stats, Tank? Aren't you back on the commentary roster again?
Can you believe it?
There we go.
Straight first lines.
And don't forget to thank Balls for getting you back into commentary.
Yeah, indeed.
Murray Cup did it for you.
Yeah, he's back. He's back on the roster.
Yeah.
He's doing under 21 games with Blades.
Oh, congrats.
Yes, indeed.
You better learn all those schools off by heart, otherwise the handicap's got your back.
And Tank, what do you say?
Okay, my feeling on this is that men are better than women at sport because they're physically better endowed. So I don't think it's about exposure. I think any sport that's going to warrant eyeballs is eventually going to find the limelight. Look, it might take a longer time, and I'm sure in this women elitist sexist society it'll take even longer. But I slightly disagree with Sean in that it's not about the contest. It's about who's the best in the world or in the country or in that room. And generally, like in tennis or like in most sports, men are going to beat women. And so, I think it always takes an edge off women's sport, and that the men are always going to be better. That said, I agree with a lot of the discussion that's gone on today. And for me, women's swimming, I find fantastic to watch. I mean, I think they're probably not as powerful, but they get through the water probably a little bit more beautifully, if one could use a word like that. And I enjoy watching that.
All right, we're going to leave it there. And tweets coming through. Miles wants to know why women should earn the same prize money as men in tennis when the men pay best of 5 and not 3. Physical ability not comparable.
I think it's a fair question.
Interesting one to think about.
Especially when you've got, and I know we want to wrap this up, but especially when you've got someone like Serena Williams, who should be probably playing in the men's draw anyway.
Oh, Simon, come on.
Comes in there and absolutely smokes her opposition in the final. She'll win love and 2. Whereas you've got, a Federer Nadal, a Federer Djokovic or whatever final, and these guys will go to 5 sets, and the last set, the Oak will win 19-17.
Do you want me to be really honest? Like before the Federer, Nadal, and now Andy Murray and Novak Djokovic got onto the scene, there was like a decade where I preferred watching women's tennis to men's tennis. That Pete Sampras era could be, I would pick any women's final over it. I was bored to snores most of the time watching Wimbledon along the years.
All right, let's leave it there. And thanks a lot, Grant, for your tweets as well. Got my tuna on Blogz and watching Chris Gale smashing the palms. Johnny, we'll find out what that's all about. Says pretty entertaining stuff. It's be interesting having Balls Blogz as commentary for a Chris Gale innings. while we're talking about a woman, Serena Williams, and swimmers bouncing beautifully through the water. But there we go. Hang on the line there, guys. We're going to give you guys a short breather, and then we'll get on to the other two topics on Blogz this afternoon. Joining us for Blogz, our two remaining topics. We'll get to the likable South African sports personality in just a short while. First of all, let's go to the subject of Rassie Erasmus. I see Bock and Roll has just tweeted the latest on Quade Cooper, has repeated his statement saying he wouldn't play for Australia if he was picked. So, Kevin Peterson syndrome. There we go. Just saying a little earlier on, Richie McCaw's basically outlined his plans for the year, and when he doesn't want to play. And that's cool, but Kevin Peterson does the same, and he's out in the wilderness.
I gotta say, like a couple of months after we voted Quade Cooper to be the biggest knob in world sport,
yeah,
he's really living up to the title quite spectacularly.
I think Kevin was second, close second in some of the calls as well. But anyway,
toxic environment, he says, surrounding the team.
Yeah, there it is. Wow. Now let's go on to Rassie Erasmus. Just your thinking behind that subject, Tank.
Okay, so it stems from the fact that pre-season, just after Heineke was announced as coach, they went on a bit of a road trip, and they invited all media or people into. They went to all four big cities in the country, and it was Rassie and Heineke, and they did a 2-hour presentation to us on how the Springboks are going to play, the structure of the team, the playbook, and basically how it was all going to work. And it was 2 peas in a pod. Now you can't see, for love or money, you can't see Rassie in a Springbok coach's box. You can't see him around the Springbok team. Of course, sorry, I was saying that it was always meant to be like this, and he was meant to just be there at the beginning and then run away and become involved in central structures. But having spoken to a few people out there, one does get the feeling that Rassie has rolled away on purpose. He's kind of seen a little bit of poo hitting the fan. He's thinking, well, if this thing goes down, I'd rather not be attached to the ship, and now perhaps I could come in as the knight in shining armor. Look, I mean, so sorry to say there's no rift. I think a lot of people are talking about the fact that he's certainly visible with the Springboks as he used to be. And it just got me thinking, I mean, what do we do with a guy like Rassie? And there also seems to be 2 schools of thought on Erasmus. One, he's an absolute genius, and he's probably the best coach that ever lived. 2, he's a complete fraud, and he's managed to pull the wool over people's eyes and managed to be in the right place at the right time. I kind of oscillate between the 2. I've seen him at work, obviously down at Province, and he, nothing really came of his time here. But I do think that the youngsters that are coming through now, and there are a lot of good youngsters coming through, are because of him. But I also think that he bullshits quite well, and he knows who to talk to when, and he's done well at being in the right place at the right time. So what the hell do we do with him? My thinking on this, just shortly or briefly, is that I don't think rugby players are skilled enough to play an All Black position-based game, and I think we need to have structures in place where we present to the national coach, whoever it may be, players that can play any sort of game plan. So if a national coach decides on a kick and chase, smash bash, that's fine, then those players must be available. If, however, he wants to play a more position-based game and it's a run into space and offload and a tackle, then those players must also be around. So to my mind, I think that should be Rassie's job, is that however he wants to do it, try and get skills implemented from the lowest level. So from, right from standard 6, from under 13 rugby, where coaches do look. I don't think you should have a South African way. I think that's horrible. But I do think he should be implementing a plan where guys at least come out of school and they can pass to their right and they can put their hands through the tackle and get that pass away. So that's the role that I would see him playing. If I were Saru and paying him his enormous salary.
Lance, are you with us still?
Yep.
Okay, so.
Go right, Tank.
That's my proposal, and I'd like to hear arguments for and against, please.
This is a proper landing special. This straight out of the change rooms. Jock strap still attached. Tank, I actually have no idea about Rassie, and you just informed me about the fact he could be a bit of a bullshitter. Sean?
You can't say that on 5, by the way, Tank, remember, eh? So you get freedom here. Just remember where your bread's buttered, eh?
But Darren, speaking of which,
Like Simeon as well.
You must listen to my Ryder Cup preview on 5 tomorrow. It's going to be great.
Are you on 5 tomorrow?
7:30.
Jeez, like, what's going on? Sean, when are you doing? Are you doing weekend?
Me?
Yeah.
On the weekend?
On 5.
Well, I'm not on 5. I
Oh,
haven't had
okay.
that phone call yet. But
All right. Well, stick
Over
around.
5.
Better
Stick
time,
around.
surely.
Looks like it's going to be happening soon, yeah. All right. Sean, what do you say?
Look, I think a lot of South Africans, and me included, were distracted by Rassie's job title when he was initially selected, because I kept hearing the term technical advisor. And when you hear technical advisor with the Springbok team, you think like how Eddie Jones performed a role with the same title a couple of years ago, which was kind of more as an assistant coach, I would think. Then it became more that Rassie's more like kind of in the background to kind of like get the structures right, keep the lines of communication open. I hope that means more than just making sure that the walkie-talkie has fresh batteries. But I think we were all distracted the one test match when he was in the coaching box, which I think was either in the second or the third test.
Or both?
Yeah.
And all of us, all in the South African public, were, ooh, look at Heineke and Rassie sitting in a tree planning all the Springbok glory. And then in the next test match, he wasn't there. But I also think that's a coincidence with no one being in the coaching box at all. Like in the first 2 tests, it used to be the whole clan, and then it was just Heineke and the walkie-talkie. So there's clearly been a change of reference in terms of the on-field instructions. So I don't want Heineke being, Rassie being in the coaching box and then not there anymore, to being distracted in terms of how Sari view his role. But
Is he not on the roof maybe getting the lights hooked up?
that's what I was thinking. Maybe he's just in that kind of phase. We need coloured cards, Heineke, and then he was just shunted.
But I mean, Tank, is that not exactly the point on both of them? I mean, I still think Heineke is going to actually do something with this side. I think it's going to be the same as what happened with the Bulls. I think he's going to find a way, and it's going to turn around. However, a lot of people that have been there, and particularly when you talk about coaches, these are professional rugby players who are playing at the top level, who kind of you go out on the field, you know what you got to do. Why is the coach sitting there barking instructions during a game and shouting into the thing as though they're a bunch of under sevens? And also, on the same token, what was the whole idea about Rassie and the disco lights on the top of the roof, giving players signals and what to do during a game? Surely, successful teams, you don't see that kind of thing happen. You don't see Graham Henry shouting down a walkie-talkie, or all of your successful coaches, Jake White and what's his name, Clive Woodward, when England were going through such a good phase. So you kind of think that in both cases, coaches should just be letting the players do the job, because they should have done their homework and done their preparation already and know what to do.
Completely, Natalie. And I think Heineke looks like a complete arse screaming into that bloody walkie-talkie. And the quicker he drops that, the quicker he'll be more respected and perhaps better accepted amongst a few more people in South Africa. I mean, you hit the nail on the head. I mean, you do your prep during the week. Your captain is your man on the field. And if you can't trust him to make those on-field decisions, change your captain. It's ridiculous. It's out of control. But I must say, having seen him see the light on Goosen, I agree. And I do think that by hook or by crook, or by pressure from social media or whatever, I do think that Heineke is going to find some sort of balance, and I do think this box side will be good. Much like the province bleat on about how young their side is. I mean, you've seen that the 6 of the side on Saturday are under 21. So these are lighties. And there's proper potential there. I hope Heineke takes that next step after picking Goosen, and you just tweak that game plan slightly, a little bit more possession based. But I mean, back to Rassie, I think no one's got this director of rugby right. Sean, as you say, I mean, you're either an assistant coach, or the coach reports into you, or you try and make it a hybrid and you call it a high performance manager, which is what they've done with Rassie. And my thinking is that Rassie should be about getting structures right in all forms of rugby under Saru, to try and present to the national coach the best possible players, both in terms of positioning and in terms of skill. Because every single national coach that I've spoken to has said that he receives players that aren't well enough conditioned or don't have the skills to play a sort of wider game of rugby. So that's a perfect role for Rassie, and I don't know, it's the kind of thing I think he should be doing.
And Tank, in his short tenure at Western Province and the Stormers, I mean, his record for that, Rassie's record for that kind of thing was excellent. I mean, look at how the under-19s and the under-21s developed into being winning sides and winning their finals under his tenure. It's it's
Look, they never got the big trophy, but they got that conference trophy twice. The 21s did well. They never won any other trophy. So, he didn't bring a trophy home, and that's what everyone points at. But a lot of those coaches said that he's the best rugby mind they've ever worked with.
in 2010, didn't the under-19s and the under-21s?
This is
win
like the
their
Oscar
select-
Academy Award music. When your time is up on your topic, your time is up.
Yeah.
So the music gets louder and louder.
Congratulations, Sean. Bye-bye.
All right. Ben's about the only one agreeing with me right now on that. But we done with that subject. We got to get on to the last one, which is South Africa's most likable sports personality. This bounce. This bounce has had the biggest response on Twitter. Wow, a lot of people are tweeting about theirs. Should I leave the tweet suggestions till after you guys have had your say, or should I tell you what they say now?
Go for it, Darren.
I say, tell me. Yeah.
I say now.
All right, Miles Chandler-Clough. But good response there from, who was it then? Craig, who says, but he loses points with a name like that. Reminds him of Peter Sellers in the Pink Panther. The name. Willem says, has to be A.B. de Villiers or Osturan from back in the day. Samir says, the Mighty Hash. Neil says, the Mighty Hash. Humble and incredibly gifted. Tatiana says, Hershey Brew. Her personal lickable, likable, so she has her reasons. And Pajasso, or at Pajasso, otherwise Trots Afrikaans, says Oscar Pistorius. So that's what we've had on Twitter so far. You can tweet your suggestions while we discuss it. Who's going to bounce? Better you start and finish.
Yeah, sure.
Are these, sorry, can I just ask, Bounce?
Are they current or
Is this current sports personalities or from
Past?
days gone by?
Oh, I don't know, Simon. It's not my topic. I'm just going on what you guys said.
Whose topic was it?
Mine,
Yours.
sorry.
Oh, sorry,
Sean.
Sean.
Then Sean, you lead the way.
past, present?
I was thinking more present personality.
Past,
so,
we don't have enough time
so I
for
was
it.
it's kind of an extension of what we chatted about on a previous blogs the other day that I thought was pretty interesting. We were talking about how sporting role models, whether they're being phased out or if they continue to have a prominent force in sport. And just thinking about that and how when you say sports personality and look at great sports personalities down the years, it's people who show charisma, people who show exuberance. And in the age of like the media training and all like the post-match interviews, that's all just seems to be coached out of guys these days, and you hardly get to see a lot of sports personalities of old. You just have a
walking
match
sound
interview
bites.
where the only thing you can hear is 110%. So,
Yes.
but there's one guy
Momentum.
but
Keep
there's
the momentum.
but for
Boys
me,
worked hard.
I'm with a couple of the guys on Twitter and saying Hashim Amla stands out for me as one of the leading, as probably my leading sports personality for reasons that are against the stereotype of why you'd pick a sporting personality. He just goes about his work humbly and with excellence, with a small sense of humor, and is able to produce incredible results and capture the imagination of kids wanting to play cricket and be like him. I just found that aspect interesting.
And he's an interesting guy to talk to. When you look at him, you think, you'd be very shy. I mean, it's like Huffy Du Toit today. I was blown over by just how wordy he is and how well he speaks and what a lacquer guy he is. But so you look at a guy and you think, he won't be. But I mean, we've spoken to Ash on this show, and also, I mean, he really does. He speaks out of his brain. He doesn't speak in sound bites.
No, he comes across as extremely well read,
Yeah.
extremely principled. And just what better role model could you have, in my opinion?
Bounce.
Yeah, I agree. I think most sports people are, no disrespect to them, quite generic characters. The people that I've met, and generally you see in interviews, Hashim Amla is one of the most incredible people I've actually met. He's just such a likable guy on so many different levels. And to go with that, Dale Steyn is the kind of guy that you would want to have a beer with. You watch him, he gives absolutely everything on the field, and he's just a very nice, likable guy. So for me, those two guys really stand out a hell of a lot.
All right, well, you guys have thrown cricket players out there. Marius, who's, by the way, a new listener here on 91.3 Alternative FM to Balls Radio. Lacquer Morris for your tweets. He says Gary Player, no doubt. I'm sure if Billy was here, he would have something to say.
Yep.
He would say Gary Player. And then Wayne Warren says Geo Aplon. as one of the most likable sports stars in the country.
I'd say Morné Morkel.
Morné Morkel, throw him into the mix.
Very nice guy.
Yeah,
Very,
Jacques
very
Rudolph,
nice guy. Jacques Rudolph.
also a nice guy.
Also
Yeah.
Josh Strauss, I quite like him in the rugby front.
There we go, Johnny.
Yeah.
Jean
Josh
de
Strauss,
Villiers.
Jean de Villiers, nice. And, the two guys have gone cricket, so you obviously have a rugby player in mind.
Well, guys, we should really make this quite simple and just say who's the doers, because we've
been there.
through all day.
Quade
How
Cooper,
nice
we
these guys
agreed
are.
on it's Quade Cooper, and he's proven it.
Yeah, well, he's not local.
Okay, look. Tank?
Okay, my thinking is, it's along the lines of what Sean is that people are coached into being a little bit robotic. And so for me, I understand role models, I understand you must be nice to kids and you can't kill hamsters on record players. But for me, the people that
What?
have you never heard of that?
You've got to use that in comment. You've got to make it your commentary catchphrase. Can't kill hamsters on record players.
Is that a Pinelands thing, Tank?
You put the hamster on the vinyl record player and then it pisses itself until it dies.
It's a vinyl countdown.
Shut up, John.
That's one of your best, my friend.
Yeah, anyway, carry on.
Yeah, I'm sure, John.
Thanks, Ben.
Okay, so the guys that I relate to are the people that are perhaps slightly center, and they would be like a Bruce Fordyce. Ernie Els is without doubt the number one South African sportsman that I relate to and like. Rob Fleck, Herschel Gibbs, Dwayne Vermeulen, Skulk Burger, Bob Skinstad, Keith Andrews, Tian Strauss, and
The whole
Bruce
Western
Fordyce.
Province team, basically.
Coach.
100%. So. I honestly seem to be.
You would want to have a beer with.
Yeah. Miles has said Bucky's Buerta off the field. And there's another suggestion.
What about like a Fani de Villiers?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Remember when
100%.
And
Pat
back in
Sim
the
Cox?
day?
Jonty and Sean.
Jonty Rhodes, yeah.
Sean Pollock?
Yeah.
Pat Simcox? Although there was a lot of silence when I said Pat.
No, I don't know Pat. Like
He's a lucky guy to talk to because he is off the field and on the field in an interview exactly the same. He actually gives you something.
Yeah.
Mark Andrews, I thought, was like one of the best guys to interview because he
Eddie's
was full
brother.
of mischief and Eddie Andrews' brother, according to John. He was always full of mischief, but he always also gave you something. He was always he was just like one of the most likable guys. Gary Teichmann, another one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cornet-
Mark's cousin Keith was even better though. Eh?
What's that?
Keith.
Mark's cousin Keith. Keith was.
Yeah, he's a laugh a minute.
Yeah, he is a meter man.
Gary Fischer says Corne Kricher, also another lacquer guy. Skulk Burger, Skulk Jonker has just said from Sports Illustrated, said, talking for 10 minutes and Skulk Burger doesn't get a mention. What's wrong? Tank?
Expect to see him.
Yeah, it's not the first time that the Yonker's been a bit short, a bit quick out of the holster there.
Yeah. Carry on, Tank?
I've finished my list. It's fermented and klar.
Or do you have one? Because we want to try.
One.
Yeah,
Ernie
Yeah,
Els.
let's have one, Tank.
Ernest Elf.
Ernie Els is your final one. Ernie Els is the most likable South African sportsman. Bounce, who do you say is your one?
I always knew Tank would go with an athlete. My one, I would go with Dale Steyn.
Dale Steyn. Sean?
Personally, I would stick with Hashim Abda, although I do like the Ernie Els one as well, because Ernie Els brings a kind of everyman quality to him as well, which it seems like he's just a regular guy who just worked really hard to get to be where he is. Whereas
Sounds like Gary Player.
Gary Player grew up poor.
Yeah, and he slept in a bunker once at the Open.
Traveled 17 million miles a
Yeah.
year.
Gary Player seemed to pull off being everyday man and being exceptional at the same time.
And a
I don't know how
fantastic
he does it.
businessman and a great course designer.
And he'll sing you a hell of a tune as
No,
well.
I'm
yeah.
going with Gary Player.
And he tweets all his own tweets.
Yep.
All right, Rob van Buren says Alan Donald and Polly. So you going with Hashim?
I'm sticking with Hashim
Hashim
Amla.
Amla. I forgot your name. Sean. You've got so many personalities. I've finally been done. Simon.
I'm going to go Gary Player.
Gary Player. Really?
Yeah, most likable sportsman.
Yeah.
Sorry, I can't finish that sentence.
Johnny,
Darren, I must admit to Ernie Elsa's the one I
Oh, you're such a sheeple, Johnny.
No,
you're a lemming. That's what you are.
I,
You're a
I
lemming.
once
You
dropped,
follow the crowd.
I once dropped. I had 100 rand in coins in my wallet, and it fell out at the airport in George. And Ernie helped me pick up every single
But you, so
Yeah,
you're saying
100
that
rand in coins.
Dale?
coins. I had.
Oh, you're going to the slot machine or something, John?
Yeah, but if Dale Steyn had been there, he might have done it as well. It
Yes,
happened
I
to be
suppose.
Ernie there.
Yes.
I'm going to go with John Smith.
Yeah,
I'm going with John Smith. Yeah, I think he's the most
Yes.
likable.
nice guy.
Yeah,
Hell of a
really
nice guy.
John as well.
Bock and roll. Let's end it up there because he's put up a topic maybe for next week. He says, "Who's the Zephyr sports star?" And then I'd also suggested Nancy Hayward. I'll leave it up to you three guys to choose who wants to put that subject forward. The Zephyr sports star in South Africa. Guys, thanks a lot for joining us. It's almost 6 o'clock. About
2 p.m. to 6 p.m. Mondays to Fridays live on balls.co.za. Balls.co.za.